Now we're cooking. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Veganboomerbabe, where it's never too late to go vegan. My name is Sherry, and welcome to my kitchen today. Today, I'm going to be doing a spinach, mushroom, and cheese quiche. I'm going to be using JUSTEgg. JUSTEgg is a great product. It is made from mung beans, protein, and a couple other things, but it's a great egg substitute, and I love it in a quiche. It really has made having quiches possible as a vegan. So I'd like to get started. So what I'm going to do, I have here, I found this in Whole Foods. It's an organic traditional pie dough in the frozen food area. You can find, if you can't find a vegan pie crust dough, you could make your own, certainly. I like the kind that you unroll. You can buy the ones that are already frozen in little foil pans, but when you do that, then you are limited to using that foil pan to bake in. And I don't really think that's the best heat conductor, so I like to use my really nice heavy-duty ceramic pie dish. And what I've done, I did just kind of roll this out just a little bit more in a circle. I'm going to just lay it into my deep dish pie plate, and I'm going to just kind of settle it in here. I am not going to par bake this crust. I have in the past, when I made quiches, I have par baked crust before. I've made this without par baking it, and I really did not notice a difference. So I'm going to skip that step today. Par baking is when you would put this into, you would put your pie crust in, and then you would prick it with a fork all over. I'm not even going to do that. I don't know whether it's because I'm not using milk or cream in it that it doesn't get soggy, I don't think. So if we can skip a step, why not? This is absolutely delicious, and I find that the crust is perfectly fine doing it this way. So if you'd like to par bake your crust, what you would do is just prick it with a fork, maybe put some pie weights in, bake it in the oven for maybe 10-15 minutes at 375 until it's golden brown, then bring it out, and then you could start with filling your quiche. So I'm going to just set that aside, and I'm going to, this quiche has a lot of ingredients, well, a lot of different cheeses, let me put it that way. It has some mushrooms, garlic, onions, spinach, and a couple different kinds of cheeses. I have, Follow Your Heart makes a smoked gouda. I really love this cheese. It has a great flavor. Miyokos has a farmhouse cheddar, which is made from oat milk, and this is a fabulous cheese as well. My very favorite cheese of all and is the Miyokos pepper jack cheese, which I can't find anywhere. I used to get it at Whole Foods. Now I order it directly from Miyokos, and I have 4 or 5 bars shipped to the house. They're great about letting you know when it's delivered, so I put some in my freezer and then I pull it out as I needed it because it's really it's a great cheese. And then of course the Parmesan, Violife Parmesan. So there are the 4 different cheeses that I'm adding to this today. But first, we're going to start with our vegetables. So I have my pan heating here, and I'm going to add 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil and just get that hot. And to this, let's see if it's getting, there we go. I'm going to add 8 ounces of baby Bella mushrooms sliced. Now I do buy them whole, and I do clean them. When I'm cleaning mushrooms, I know sometimes there's mushroom brushes where they just brush the dirt off. I prefer to wash the dirt off. So what I do is I hold my mushroom, if this were the whole mushroom, and I just let the water run over the top of it. You don't want the water to get into the bottom of the mushroom because that could make it soggy, but I just lightly rinse it with some water just to clean the mushrooms off, get all the dirt off of them, and then I slice them. They already sell them sliced. I always buy them whole and slice them myself. I just think that they just seem fresher to me. I don't know, but you know, while this is heating up, I do want to point out a really great little tool that I have here. This is, I don't know what the technical name for this would be. It's a pie crust saver. We'll call it that. I don't know what it's called. And this goes over the rim of the pie crust so that when you put this pie in the oven, I'm going to leave this on just like, well, you know what, I think I'll put our quiche together first and then put it back on. What that does is that keeps the thin scalloped edge from browning too quickly. So these don't seem to be doing anything. I am going to just stir these mushrooms around, and let me just see if we can get these to brown up here. Okay, so our mushrooms are just starting to brown, and now I'm going to add about 1 small sweet onion to this. I have it chopped, and I'm also going to use about 2½ cloves of garlic. So I'm going to just, I already have most of them minced already with my garlic press, and I'm going to add the garlic into the onions and mushrooms. Give this a stir. Now we're cooking. Okay. And I'm going to add some salt and pepper. And maybe, I'm going to guess it's like 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. Just salt and pepper to taste. And then we're going to see that this is starting to, we don't want to cook these too much because remember this is going in the oven. I have my oven preheating at 400 degrees and this is going to bake for an hour. So I want to make sure that they are browned but not thoroughly cooked through. The next thing I'm going to add, so we have our 8 ounces of baby bellas, we have our 2½ cloves of minced garlic, small onion, salt and pepper. Next we are going to add spinach as soon as this cooks down just a little bit. But I have 10 ounces of frozen chopped spinach, and with the frozen chopped spinach I thawed it in colander. And what I'm going to do, I did squeeze it dry, but I want to make sure that it's completely dry. So I'm going to put it in a couple layers of paper towels and just squeeze it. And you can see a lot of water does come out. So even when you think it's dry in the colander, there we go. A lot of water in there. Okay. I'll just leave it in the paper towel until I'm ready to dump it in. Let's see how these are looking. Okay. I'm going to let these go another minute. Okay, this is looking good. I am now going to add our spinach out of our paper towel. Unwrap this. And I'm going to break up that spinach. I'm also going to add a little more garlic. Turn this down just a little bit. I have another 2.5 teaspoons of garlic. So just mix this around. Now this was 10 ounces of spinach. When you take out all of that moisture, this gets smaller, shrinks down. And now I'm going to add a little more salt and pepper because remember that spinach doesn't have any salt or pepper in it. A little bit of salt, not much. A little bit of pepper. And I'm going to add some crushed red pepper. So you can use, this is your taste. I'm going to add in between 1/4 teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon. I like that little zing that you get from the red peppers. Depends on how much zing you like. Depends on how much red pepper you add. So, and I'm going to just stir this around. I'm actually going to turn the pan off and just continue to let these flavors go together as the heat lowers. And see how this mixes up. Okay, I've removed this from the heat, and it smells delicious. Love that smell of the garlic. And it looks great. So I have in here now, I have our mushrooms, garlic, onions, spinach, red pepper flakes, and I'm going to add my cheeses now. So I have, now the smoked Gouda, it only comes in slices, the Follow Your Heart smoked Gouda. So what I did was I kind of broke it up into, I cut it up into like little shreds, made my own shreds, because again, I really do love this smoky flavor in here. And I have in here 3/4 cup of Miyokos shredded cheddar and 1/4 cup of Miyokos shredded pepper jack. And I'm going to just stir this around. And then I'm going to dump this into the pie crust. So I like to mix everything in here first. And then I'm going to put it into our pie crust. Oops. Alrighty. Now I'm going to just spread this around. Okay, it looks good. Now one thing about JUSTEgg is that you need to shake it really well. So I have 1.5 bottles here. It's like the Congos. I just got Congos for Christmas. I don't play them this well. Okay, so, you know, it's kind of like oat milk. I love Oatly oat milk, and you have to shake that really well too. I have 1.5 containers. If you use a smaller pie plate, you may only need 1 bottle. I'm going to do 2 bottles. Sometimes that's really hard to open, so I'm pleasantly surprised I didn't have to struggle with that. And I'm going to just slowly pour the JUSTEgg over our vegetables. Now you really could change this up, and if you wanted to use broccoli, if you wanted to use asparagus, whatever you like, you can. It's a great basic recipe. So I have that. I think that's all I'm going to put in. And I have a little bit of Parmesan, which I'm going to just grate over the top. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just push this down just a little bit. There we go. I'd rather put in just under than to have it cook over in the stove, in the oven. And then I'm going to just top it with some Parmesan. And then last but not least is my tool that I have no idea what the name of it is. But we're going to put it over top of our pie. This is an old Pampered Chef tool from way back when. And trusty tool though, it really covers that crust and keeps it from burning. Probably about, this is going to bake for an hour. I'll probably start looking at it in about 50 minutes, and then when I start looking at it, I'm probably going to remove this and see how that crust looks. If the crust looks like it's done enough, I'll keep this on the whole time. If I picked this up in 50 minutes and it wasn't done enough, then I would take this off. So I'm going to eyeball that. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and I will see you back here in 1 hour. Okay, and we are back. It's been an hour, and the quiche took pretty much exactly an hour. After 50 minutes, I did go in and I took off my little rim that protected the pie crust from getting browned too quickly. And I'm going to test this with a knife, simply inserting the knife into the center of the quiche, and it smells so delicious. Putting that knife in, comes out completely clean. That's what I'm looking for. I can smell the garlic, all the different cheeses. That smoked Gouda that I put in there just smells wonderful. That's why I like to add that smoked Gouda. It just gives a little smoky flavor. So this smells fabulous, looks fabulous. Hoping that with a side salad, this will make a great dinner. It also is perfect for breakfast or brunch. So I hope you'll give this a try. Thanks for coming to my kitchen today. It was great to see you all, and I will see you again soon. Thanks.